Hello, this is Animal Tourism Finland, and my name is JC Garcia Rosell, and I'm here with my colleague
Mikko Aila. Hello, and we are at the moment in the Multidimensional Tourism Institute, which is part of University of Lapland in Rovaniemi, Finland.
Yeah, and we are here because we want to tell a little bit about our last research on animal issues. And this research was published in the Finnish Journal of Tourism Research last December 2016, and is a literature review of discussions about animals in tourism studies.
We wanted to look at how animals or the relationship between humans and animals are looked at in tourism studies or tourism literature.
We were able to recognize three kind of main discussions or perspective in the literature in tourism studies, and one of the perspective we recognized was the ethical point of view, ethical perspective. Then also we recognized this kind of a visitor or tourist perspective, and then managerial perspective. From the ethical point of view, we saw that there are three different perspectives. Ecocentrism, it means that animals actually are seen as part of nature, as part of the environment. In most tourism strategies, when we talk about the environment and nature, we are talking also about animals.
So they don't give really that much meaning for an individual animal, so the more important is the ecosystem.
Yeah. The second perspective was utilitarianism, animal welfare perspective. What it means that we can use animals in different services or activities as long as we treat them well. There was a third perspective, that is the animal rights perspective. Animals have intrinsic value,
which means that animals can't be used in tourism at all. So this they have rights. The second one was the kind of tourist point of view. So we found out that it's really important how the tourists perceive the animals, how the space affects the interaction between the tourist and the animal. And then one perspective was education. For example, zoos, they have also, it's very important to them to educate visitors about animals.
And there was also a point of view, was the cultural point of view, that there are differences between visitors, tourists, that they have different attitudes toward animals. And this is some studies were focusing on this particular aspect. But in this case, we were talking, all these studies in this perspective were approaching animals from the point of view of the tourists, of the visitors, of the travelers. And then we have a third perspective, that was the managerial one.
Yeah, so in the management perspective, one theme was how to manage the interaction between the tourists and the animals. For example, in wildlife tourism, there is some risks because you are watching dangerous animals such as elephants and so on, and how to manage these risks and dangerous situations what might occur. Then there was also how to, because there are different activities in certain areas. There might be hikers, and then there might be people watching wildlife, and then there might be hunters.
Management of spaces, so how you actually manage the space for different activities. Interesting thing about this, the study we did, the literature review, is that we also saw that most of the studies were focusing on zoos, on wildlife. And if we think about the geographical perspective, we saw that it was Asia, Africa,
and Australia were there.
Right, and there we saw that, for example, there was a lack of focus on Nordic countries. Few studies were dealing with, for example, Northern Europe as a context. And so that is something that maybe in the future we could actually do more research on these particular areas, because animals are a very important part of the tourism activities of these places.
We also found out that the role or the animal as an actor, that was a missing point of view in the previous study. So like giving the animal an active role, how the animal or the presence of animal affects for example, the tourists or the tourist experience.
We think about the idea of animal welfare or animal issues included in the curriculum in the tourism curriculum. Actually, it was something that was missing in tourism education. We don't talk about animal issues or animal welfare or animal rights. And if we think about for example, in northern Finland, it is animals are a very important part of the services. But our tourism students are not actually getting any kind of knowledge, or they are not made aware of this issue during their studies. And even if we think that maybe our graduates are not working in a company with animals, still for them it's important to know about this issue. For example, in some interview we did with some tour operators, they told that they cannot evaluate the situation of animals, of animal welfare, because they don't know about that. They don't know actually what kind of things or practices should be implemented to make sure that the animals are doing well. They are not able to recognize places where the animals are treated in the appropriate way.
Yeah, no, and of course there is animal welfare education in Finland, but it's separated from tourism. They are like they are really two different. They are not combined. So that would be really important in the future.
This is actually the study we did. The study was published in the Finnish Journal of Tourism Research last December 2016, and it is in Finnish language, but we hope that through this video we were able to provide some of the insights. And if you are interested in knowing more about it, just contact us and we will be happy to share more information about the study with you.